Damien Carter was laid off from his job about a year ago, but instead of freaking out, he took the opportunity to go full-time with his photography business, and now he's crushing it. I'm your host, Nikki Klosser, and my guest this week on the Portrait System podcast is Damien Carter. When I first saw Damien's online presence, I was so blown away. It's so dialed in. I knew I had to have him on as a guest. Damien and I talked about how to raise your prices, how to keep clients coming back year after year. We chatted about what it takes to make it in this business, and he just gives so many golden nuggets and so much wisdom. It was an absolute honor to have him on. If you are trying to grow your photography business, this is definitely the episode for you. All right, let's get started with Damien Carter. Hi, Damien. Welcome to the Portrait System. How are you?
Hey, Nikki, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so just a little background. I think either you followed me or I followed you on Instagram. I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but it's been a while though.
Yeah, and I clicked on your profile and I was like scrolling through and I was like, dang, wow, this is like really good. And then I went to your links in your bio and looked on your website and I was like, this guy's like legit. Like he's really good. I wonder if he'd want to be on the podcast. And so I messaged you and was like, hey, do you have any interest in being a guest?
I know. And I was super excited because I've listened for so long and you do great interviews in terms of getting, important information out of people that's really helpful. So thank you.
Oh, thanks. I didn't even know if you were a listener or, I had no idea if you even knew what the podcast was. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we've been trying to do this for a while. So I'm glad we finally got you here.
Yeah, so it's cool. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. Tell people where you're located first. And second, how long have you been a photographer?
Sure. So I'm in Maryland, but right outside of D.C., so about 30 minutes from D.C.
Okay.
So they call it the DMV area. So we shoot in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, like Northern Virginia. And I've been here for years, and I grew up in Maryland, but been shooting for 15 years now.
Oh, wow.
So it's easy to remember, yeah, because my son was born, my middle child was born, and that's kind of when I started shooting professionally.
Nice. That's awesome. All right. Okay, so 15 years. Have you been full-time this whole time?
Yeah, no, actually, I've been part-time this whole time. Always had a job. I went to school, business school, and went into corporate. And photography was always my outlet. So back then, as I mentioned, when I started my son, I was just taking pictures of my kids. And with him, that's kind of when I started being hired for jobs, but totally part-time up until like this past year. So it's just been a passion and a side business.
Okay, so you've only been full-time for a year.
Yeah, a little less than a year, actually. Yeah.
That's really surprises me because your marketing, like your online presence is so dialed in. Your website, your Instagram, the reels you do, like your work is super good. I mean, I know you've been doing this for a while, but I never would have guessed that it's only been a year of you full-time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but the advantage I had, I'd say, is just kind of trial and error. So over those years, really trying everything. I think we've all done everything from the different genres that I've tried and kind of dialed in now to, systems and just ways of doing things. So, but certainly I'll circle back to kind of Sue Bryce and finding you guys on, it was Creative Live back then, I believe.
Yeah.
And just really learning how to look at things from a business perspective a lot better. So I've been kind of tweaking and trying things. So, I feel like it's the right time that I've been able to put some of those things into practice. So, but I appreciate the compliments.
Yeah. So you said you tried different genres. What did you start with and what's your like bread and butter now?
Yeah, I'd say I've tried them all. I've had some cringeworthy newborn sessions that I look back in the archives, but everything from newborn to family. Did weddings for like 10 of those years.
Oh, wow.
Because I think everyone kind of tries weddings or at least thinks about it. And I really enjoyed that, but just the time away from family just wasn't conducive. But I did love that genre, but gave up newborn, still do some family, but really I've dialed into lifestyle and just love working with people in portraits and one-on-one and just kind of bringing out the best in them. So most of my business now is just portraits. People come to the studio. I do go on location, but that's the bulk of my business, lifestyle and portraits.
So lifestyle, is that like family oriented or just one person?
More one person, but I do still do families, but it'll be more, a little bit different, a little more stylized than I used to do. But, I still do families, but a lot of one-on-one branding, lifestyle for people. Yeah.
I noticed that there's a lot, like on your Instagram, there's a lot of branding, kind of headshots, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny that, you said you did weddings and enjoyed it or whatever. I think a lot of people start in weddings
Yeah.
because we think that's where the only place you can make money.
Right. That's just true.
Yeah. But I think like, at least I did. I kind of got into like, oh, weddings are so beautiful and I get to photograph the bride and the flowers and all of that. But my weekends were
They're
gone.
gone. Yeah.
My
Right.
summer
Right.
was gone. As soon as I had my first son, I was like, I'm out of this. Like,
Yeah, I know, because they want you there. And people think about the wedding, and they know it's a long day. But as the vendors, you're there even longer because
oh,
you're there when they're setting up, and you're getting details and first looks, and I mean, and I've got 3 children, so that was
okay.
not sustainable. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, it's like, okay, so people think you can't make money in portraits. And it's hard because there still are a lot of photographers out there. And if you're listening, I'm not trying to like bash or say, this is bad or whatever, but who are charging the 200, 300, maybe even 500, might get up to 700.
hmm
And then it's like it's hard to have a sustainable business making money when you're only charging that much. And I did that. Don't get me wrong. I
yeah,
started there.
yeah, right. I mean, yeah, not to cut you off, but for me, it was kind of the double-edged sword because having it as a part-time business, I wasn't really as worried about it from the financial side. But I realized, and again, listen to the podcast, and I listened to some other photography podcasts, and just hearing what people can do, it really opened my eyes. So I'm like, even if this is a part-time business, I should be treating it like a business, right? So I
Yeah.
did that a lot more and started transitioning into, more competitive pricing, industry standard, getting closer. But I still wasn't there. But I'm there now, where I'm just kicking off for next year, where I'm comfortable, where I want to be.
You bring up a really good point because, like, if you're just doing this as a side hustle, or just because you love it, like, that's your free time. So if you have a full-time job and you're using your free time for a couple $100 for a day or, however many hours it takes you to shoot and do the edit and the client communication and the driving and all of that, like, that's your free time. Like, you should
Right.
be making bank.
Right, right. Instead of having the mindset of, oh, it's just a couple extra dollars. It's helping. Anything's helping, but really, that's still your time and that's your free time. You make a great point. So it should still be treated as a business, and you still should try to maximize your profits.
Yeah. So what was the catalyst in you going from part-time to full-time?
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I was pushed in that direction. Corporate world. There was a lot of layoffs last year, and I got caught up
Yeah.
in that. And not even performance wise, they just come in and they cut a whole section of your group, and
Mhm.
you just have to deal with it. So but that's the blessing that the photography business was really starting to kick off. That I kind of just transitioned into that. And I mean, I mentioned my 3 kids. They're a little bit older, so they're about to hit college. So I'm not even sure what path I'll be in next year if I try to get back out in the working world or not. But I wanted to make sure that my business was sustainable and could support me. So it's kind of a win-win in terms of making that transition and seeing what happens next.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people out there who can really relate to that. It's like a lot of people say, like, okay, there is the stability of having this 9 to 5, whether you're in corporate or, whatever job, but yeah, it's stability until it's not,
Right.
until you get that phone call that like you're out.
It is, yeah, and they'll do that quickly for whatever works for them, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it can be really scary for sure. I mean, I feel like there's pros and cons to both. I mean, obviously having, a business, it's a lot of work
yeah,
and you have to really like grease that wheel and really keep things in motion all the time. And so
Mhm.
there is that stress of it, but man, like the freedom to be able, like you have 3 kids, like the freedom to be able to, I don't know if your kids play sports or activities or whatever,
absolutely.
to do what you want. Like I can volunteer in my kids classes whenever I want. I can set my schedule to do literally whatever I want.
Right,
It's
right,
it's
right.
it's amazing.
It's just you take it, you take control of it. And I mean, I mentioned a lot of my portrait stuff. I do have a corporate side where, and I know you do as well, but, some companies bring me in, I'll do headshots for the whole group and
Yep.
different type of events. So I do have that as also a supplement. But my passion is my portraits, but, you make your money how you can.
I kind of want to pivot a little bit. I wasn't going to talk about pricing so early, but
Sure.
when you say companies bring you in, will you kind of walk us through what that structure looks like for you, for how you price things and how you make that work?
Sure. So, I mean, a lot of times, and it's different things. So sometimes it might be a branding session, but you're coming into a company. But a lot of times for mine, it's like headshots for a group, right? And I do headshots one-on-one and they come to my studio. But when I'm coming on location, bringing everything, setting up kind of in an
Mm-hmm.
office setting, I'll do it per person. So I'll charge 199 per person because I have a lot of volume, but I require at least like 20. This is like 20 groups of 20 to 25 or more. But
Right.
like
Yep.
the lower the number is, if they only need 10 people, I'm back to charging like 300 and 400 per head. So it just depends, and there's a lot of flexibility with companies, and that's why it's good and bad because a lot of times they don't tell you their budgets, and you're just trying to kind of work within that black box. But I
Yeah.
really try to let them know that if they're bringing me more, then the price will be lower. But if not, then I have to be at a higher price point per person.
Yeah. I just booked a law firm and they reached out and there was 12 people. And I'm at my calculator, like, okay,
Right.
I don't want to go too high, but I ended up at 350 a person for
Yeah,
the
which
12
is
people.
right.
And they were like, fine.
And they love it. You're right, exactly, because it's convenient for them. You have your setup, and some
Yeah.
people actually like those environmental portraits where you're not even bringing the back. I mean, I have my stuff in the car, and they're like, "We don't want that backdrop. Put us in the hallway," and
Right.
so those
Yeah.
really are kind of fun.
Okay. So, but you said you have a studio. Is that at your house? Do you rent it somewhere? Do you own something?
Yeah. So again, I've done it all. I've had the studio in home before. I've had bigger studios. It's a similar story to you. So I had one that was a lot bigger, really nice in a space, but it's kind of expensive, and it was like overkill. Again, I was part time, but my current space is within this artist. They call it artists. She calls it artists and makers. So it's a community of a
Oh,
lot of like traditional artists, sculptors, everything, and two photo studios. So me and one other guy. So it's a great community, and it's my space where I can do my headshots, do my portraits. Whenever I need to. So, and a lot more affordable. So I really like that space. I've been there about 2 years, but so that's where I shoot. And then on location, not just companies, but also if people need me to come out, I try to limit that. I try to do most in the studio, but I will go out on occasion.
yeah. Do you have like a dedicated space to you, or you're just
Yeah,
sharing?
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
within that building, it's a dedicated space, but
Okay.
it's quite small, so I have to be creative in there. I want to do a video on how I make it work within a small space, and I know you've done that too. But you use different lenses, you kind of work the space how you need to. But I've been able to a lot of stuff on my page is from that very small studio. So
So for people who aren't following you yet on Instagram, it's D Carter Photography.
photography, yeah.
D Carter Photography. You can see quite a bit of Damien's behind the scenes stuff. You do a
Yeah,
really
and
nice
that's
job with
yeah,
that.
and you see in a small studio, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
love it.
make it
Yeah,
work.
just for people who don't know my background with studios, like you said, I was paying like $2,500 for a brand new, like big, it was like a live work space,
Oh yeah,
like a full on like loft apartment. I didn't live there, and I was like, I am spending so much money on this space and I am shooting most of the time in like a 6 by 8 foot corner.
right.
It was more for like the
The aesthetic,
perception.
I've been
Yeah, the
perception, yeah.
aesthetic. That's the word I was
Yeah.
looking for. Totally. And then I ended up going to I found this, it was a 1 car converted garage that was a different, a family lived in the house that was renting the house. And then my makeup artist and I shared the 1 car garage. It had orange carpet, orange paint. We painted the walls. My husband installed some cheap laminate wood looking flooring and we were
Mhm.
paying $500 a month. So $250 each.
Yeah,
And I was
see.
like, I am saving like $2,000 a month,
Right,
and it
right.
didn't matter. Like, it wasn't like people were like, oh, I'm not coming because it's not.
No.
And now I do it. I just got tired, Damien, of managing a studio,
Yeah,
making sure it's
it's a
clean all
lot.
the time, paying the utilities and right, like, I don't know. So now
It's a lot.
now I just do a studio share and I rent it by, I book my hours in for that month and it's
Works out.
great. I don't have to
Yeah.
do anything. I just show up, make sure I clean up after myself and I leave. And so I don't want people to think that you have to have this like big, amazing, beautiful space,
Absolutely.
you know? I
Right.
mean, it's nice to
Right.
have, but
Totally nice, but you can make it work wherever. You
yeah,
really
your
can.
overhead, it can be a lot. You know, when
Hmm.
you add up literally all of the different things, I can't tell you how many times I get something on my phone that's like, my Photoshop, my Adobe payment this month, or I pay for a photo or whatever. And like
Yeah,
all these
yeah.
things come through and I'm like, dang, you don't realize how much it really adds up.
Right. And so add a big expense for a studio on top of that, because those things you're gonna be our systems, our CRMs, whatever. We
Yes.
have to pay those. So it's like, okay, where can I save a little bit? So I mean,
Yeah.
I always have fun in there. I tell people I let them know before it's gonna be tight. But I mean, mine's probably like, I think it's smaller. I know it's smaller than your garage space. I think mine's about a 12 by 10. So it's
Okay.
tight. But I've set it up in a way that I can get the most out of the space. And people, you just show them the images. That's all they care about. So you make it work.
Yeah. Sue used to say this all the time. People don't care. Wait, how does she say it? They don't remember where you photographed them. They remembered how you made them
How
feel.
you make them feel? Yeah, absolutely.
They
Yeah,
remember their photographs. I
yeah.
mean, that's
And
really
that's
what
all
it's
that
all about.
matters.
So
Yeah,
very cool.
absolutely.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about your lifestyle, your
Mhm.
portraits. How does that work? Do you have packages, session fees, all
Yeah.
that good
So,
stuff?
and it's part of the transition. So before I was doing my packages were so I had inched them up over time. I know a lot of guests joke about where they started, and I've done it the same way. I was listening to one interview. Somebody was saying they gave like 50, 60 images, maybe more. I was the same way, like 30, 40, 50 images for like $199. So
Yep. Ugh.
I've definitely come a long way. So what I did is I transitioned to me smarter pricing. I was raising the prices and then bringing down what I gave them, because obviously that's my work and time. But I was still all digital. So I would give my latest packages before I switched were, I think it was 900, and they would get like 6 images. Then that was 1,200 and like 1,800. And I was selling mostly at the 1,200. The 1,200 one, they would get 8 images, and the biggest package they get 15.
Okay.
So, but all digital. So still kind of a shoot and burn. And I wanted to transition out of that, but I was selling that middle package the most, which is obviously what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, and $1,200 is a great sales
But I
average.
worked up to that. I had worked up to that. But yeah, that's where my average was. They were pretty much buying that middle package. So that was really good. But I wanted to change to the more sustainable pricing, but I also wanted to offer more, because when I see prints and I get the samples for myself,
Mm,
and my wife orders a family album every year of our pictures that I take, it's really something for someone to hold and see images. So I really
mhm.
believe in that, right? So I wanted, of course, to change my pricing, but to make sure I'm offering more and not just giving digital, because I feel it just hurts me when people, I mean, they might email me later and say, can you send me? They don't even have the images anymore. They're like,
Yeah,
post a few and
I
then they're
know.
gone. So it's just
Yeah.
like, now, so my new pricing is 6 images is going to be 1250, just matted prints. You get the digital with it, but matted prints. I'm going to do 10 images for 2500, and then I'm going to do 25 images. That's going to be my high package for 4200.
Okay, you
So
haven't moved up there yet. You're
I, I
about
I
to.
have my
You have,
new
okay.
my new website is with a $349 session fee. So that's it. I'm cutting the cord. So
Yeah.
I did book one client on that now, but that's going to be my 2026 pricing. So I'm
Okay.
locked in. I'm not going back. It's like, this is my pricing. But they'll get those matted prints. I mean, I have samples that show them in, the matted prints in the boxes, and people just are amazed and love them. So I'm like, this is what I need to be selling and providing for clients.
And it's so important to show those and have people hold it and feel it. And so, okay, it seems like, I mean, your portfolio is so strong, which is amazing. And if you're listening, if you are trying to get up to the prices that Damien just said, you don't have to be the best photographer in the world. You don't. But you got to have like a solid portfolio.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, maybe you don't have to, but it is very helpful when you have a solid portfolio, a diverse range of photos showing like, people have to see themselves in your photos.
Right.
So I just wanted to say that too, that that's really important, and you have that for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how do you transition from, okay, if someone inquires and they're like, well, I just want digitals, or whatever, how do you like get that box of matted prints in their hand so they can feel it and see the value in it?
Right. So with my new website, I've really been trying to show and talk about it a little bit more. But frankly, even when I'm talking to people on the phone, not just what I show, when I'm talking to people on the phone, I'm like saying that language. Like you really need. I mean, I asked them the question about what do you do with the files? What do you do with the images? People were talking about like outfits. We're talking about where we want to shoot, and I'm like, so you're going to do all that, and then we're going to just throw them on a thumb drive or on a hard drive and let them disappear. So I start talking to them now more about where do you want them to live? And when I show them, even if it's not in person, I'll show them pictures and they're like, wow, it's really, high quality stuff. I'm not just trying to get more money. I'm trying to get more value, right? So the people I've been talking to, like I said, it's probably been 6 weeks since I've fully changed. And I have the one coming in 2 weeks that I booked. And it's a little tricky because it's Christmas season, but, January, I think people will start coming in based on the new pricing. So I think they see that that's where I'm headed and they like the work. Like you said, you've built a portfolio so people see that's the work they want. So now you're just kind of, I think the hard part's done for me. It was just
Yeah.
kind of making that jump.
Well, and I kind of asked that because you make this very clear on your website, and I love that. I can't find exactly, I was going to read it. I can't find exactly where it is, but you say something along the lines of, if you're someone who just wants one quick headshot, like, I'm not your guy.
Right. I
But
put that, yeah.
you say it in a way that is,
But it's okay, right? It's
yeah,
like, if that's what you want, it might be on the services section. But yeah, if that's what you want, that's fine. But this experience is more than just us doing a great photo session. And then, I really have had that happen multiple times where people lose the images, but they love them. But they're like, can you send me the gallery again? Can you? Because I was just sending galleries. And it just feels impersonal to me as well. But
yeah.
when you're delivering something, handing them something that's beautiful that they can hold and feel and cherish, frankly, they're going to have it forever. So
The copy on your website is really, really amazing. Like, there's this one line, it says, this isn't just picture day. It's the moment when we bring your story to life. Like,
right.
the way that you communicate this, I feel like it's doing like the selling for you, just the way you're communicating this.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. I think, here it is. Instead of a quick shoot and handoff, it's a process designed to be more personal, more intentional. Okay, that wasn't the exact one I was looking for. Anyway, the copy on your website is really incredible.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I think you're setting the stage. And I remember back when I switched, to higher pricing and that sort of thing. And I have this on my website too, where it's like, we're going to do your hair and makeup. This is a full experience, that sort of thing. I stopped getting I just want one headshot.
Right.
It's very rare that I get I just want one.
Right. And that's what we're trying to get away from. Because I do want to offer more value, but I also want to kind of get rid of those people that are just, that's fine if you want that, but I can't offer that and, this higher level service and, personal service. So that's fine. If you want that, then, I'll recommend some of my, and I know people, like I said, that shoot that way and it's fine, like you said, but that's not me.
Yeah. Okay. And marketing is like, you can be the best photographer in the world, but if you don't have strong marketing,
right.
No one's going to find you. No one's going to book you, So
Right.
how are you, other than obviously I see your online presence is super strong. How else are people finding you? Like, how are you bringing people in?
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I get so much from word of mouth. I think a lot of us do, but that's a really strong part of my business. I was looking at one client that basically gave me 18 other clients. I was like over 2 years. It wasn't even that long of a period. Over 2 years, she just had a great session. She hired me multiple other times, and then she, and that's an outlier, but certainly people do. And I try to make them feel a certain way and, great images. So word of mouth is still great. Instagram was a big piece of it, but the reach and some of the algorithm changes have affected me in terms of getting clients that way. So that's why I really wanted to pour more into the website. I have an email list that, all the things that I try to do, try to nurture that because I do get business. Every time I tell myself I need to put more content out on there, send more regular newsletters and emails.
Yes.
Yeah. So And I use Flowdesk, so it really looks nice and people respond to those. So I just need to do more of those. But clients come in through those pretty much every time I send one out. But I want to do one soon as we get past Christmas that's really talking about the new process and really bringing in them and walking them through that. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's great. It's so awesome when you can find an evangelist for your business. I had
Right.
one of those as well. Actually, I had two who, I mean, they brought me so much business because they screamed from the rooftops about
Right.
me.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and actually one of the evangelists that I had for me, we did a trade. Like I offered her a trade and I didn't even need the service that she was giving to me. But in my head, I was like, I have a feeling this woman is gonna, like, she was just one of those like kind of queen bee people who
All right.
I just had a feeling if I could get her in front of my camera, she would really tell people about me. And she did. And
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even tell you how many clients. And then those clients end up telling people and yeah.
And I'd say I bring this up just to share with other photographers as well. Like, we talk about free shoots and different type of shoots to get not necessarily just seek those evangelists, but definitely to get people to understand the experience and experience it for themselves so they can talk about it. I think sometimes you have to. I do it all the time. If I'm slow, I just want to be shooting, so I'll bring people into the studio. And I'll give them a couple of shots, but them sharing and them really showing what it's like and talking about it there, in their own words, it really makes a difference. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're slow, take that time to just keep shooting, bring people in that fit that ideal client, and then let them share too. So it's a way to kind of generate some of that and get it going.
Yeah, especially if you're changing genres. So if you're if you're listening and you're a wedding photographer and you want to break into this, like, I know it's hard, especially if you've been an established wedding photographer for a long time and that sort of thing. And it can be hard to like, do free shoots or whatever, but sometimes it's so worth it.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, or even like offering some sort of like really huge gift voucher or just something to get people, because you've got to build up that portfolio of whatever genre that is. Like when I was switching to maternity, I was like, okay, I really want to do maternity, but I didn't have any photos to show. Like, how am I going to market
Right.
that? So I posted in a local mom's. This is when I was living in Seattle, in a mom's Facebook group, and got a couple people in. And then I think I had three ladies come in, and then I had a portfolio that
Then
I
you have,
could
yeah,
market with. So
exactly. It's a good way to get people in. Yeah, you have to do
yeah.
what you have to do.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about. I know you said you were laid off a year ago, and like what advice would you give to someone if they're either in a job they hate or they're just at risk of losing their job or they're not making enough money, where this could happen to them? Like
Mhm.
how do you prepare for that? And I know you had a long time to do it, but like what would you tell someone who's just stuck in this job that they hate or they might get laid off or whatever?
Yeah, I'd just say even if you kind of truncate your timeline to what I did, but you have to start treating it like a business. Like I said, like if it's something part time that you're trying to do on the side, so that it can become your main thing. So it's kind of that maybe short. I would say not maybe. I would shorten it. Do those things quickly in terms of getting your pricing right, getting your portfolio, as we've been talking about, getting your relationships in the industry, which is important as well. We haven't talked about, but getting those things in place as soon as possible, because you never know when this thing can happen. But then if those things are in place, you can quickly transition into something that's more sustainable and full time. So, but I think there's an advantage to this current time we live in terms of the networking you can do with people that are
Hmm.
willing to share, the education platforms like Sue's, going to conferences, which I haven't done as much, but I'm doing next year. But I network like crazy with photographers. I just enjoy the camaraderie, but it's also a way to get business because
Hmm.
your colleagues can't do everything, so they start to hand you work. So it's just doing all the things that you've heard about, but kind of putting them in place and not waiting, I'd say. So then, if something happens, you quickly turn on, maybe amplify it versus having to start from scratch.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a total side note, but are you going to go to WPPI?
I'm going this year, yes. I'm
Yay!
gonna,
Oh, me
yeah,
too.
I haven't been to
So fun
imaging
moving
or
in.
WPPI, but yes,
Uh,
the WPPI like experience, just living vicariously. I've definitely feel like I've missed out. So I'm gonna.
oh, it is like It's so much fun. And it's so
Yeah.
much learning. It's one of those things like,
Right.
I remember the first time I went, it was in 2012 when I was just starting my business. And I was
Mhm.
like, I'm not a good student. Like, I'm not like, I'll always be in the back row because I'm going to have to get up and move. Like, I've got that ADHD brain where I just like
Right.
can't sit in notes and whatever. And so
Mm.
it's a lot of learning. Just be prepared.
Right.
But the other thing is, like you said, the networking in the
Mhm.
community. And like I've had people say they met their like lifelong friends,
Right, right. That's
in
kind
the industry.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, very
I'm
cool
looking forward
experience.
to it for sure.
And the
There's a
first year I went, I couldn't afford it was at the MGM Grand, I think, before, and I couldn't afford to stay there. So my friend and I, who I met online,
mhm.
we stayed at Hooters across the street.
They had a hotel or you were
We
staying in
do,
a
and
restaurant?
it was like $39 a night or something, and we could walk across the street. That's how I was so broke, and it was like
Yeah.
such a stretch to go.
Do what you have to
But
do, yeah.
oh my gosh, what I learned there was unreal. Like that's the first
Yeah.
time I saw Roberto Valenzuela and Sue,
Oh,
and like
yeah.
so
Yeah.
many people that just blew my mind, and I was
Right.
like, okay, yeah,
That's great. Yeah. I mean, for me, that's why education is so big for me because I'm the type of person if I see it, then I feel like I can do it. But
yeah,
sometimes you just can't. Even everything from when I was doing weddings to getting out of that and seeing what people can really do with portraits. It's just like, okay, you see it and they show you, open your eyes to different things that can be done. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Well, and I know, like, part of this being a podcast host is part of my job or whatever, but it's so easy for me to sell the Portrait System membership because I believe in it so much. Like,
Oh, right.
that is
You
what
learn so much.
changed my life. Like, that education in there.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so easy for me to talk about it and sell it. And like, there are a lot of different education platforms that might resonate with some people and not others. And you got to kind of find your thing or whatever. And this happened to be my thing. And whatever you do learn, wherever you're learning it, you can always like tweak it to make it your own, which
Right.
is nice.
Right. Yeah. Just take whatever works and try things. And that's the other thing about what we were talking about earlier. Just be willing to try. So you go on these platforms, you see different people doing things. It might not work exactly like they do it, but try your way of it. But there's certainly ways to win in this industry, and you're not, reinventing the wheel. So
Yeah.
I definitely embrace that for sure. Actually, you and I were DMing about the conference, the recent online conference.
That I did,
Um,
yeah, reflect.
yeah, reflect. And I didn't even get to finish watching, but I bought the whole thing. So I'm the type of
Oh,
person like
nice.
I'll just go one at a time and take my little notes. So it was good that that option was there. But yeah, it looked really good.
And one thing I want to caution people about is, and I've seen people go through this. I'm super impulsive, so I just like go for it. So this was not me, but I've seen a lot of people who have like analysis paralysis where there's so much information that they just don't even know what to do next.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like you just have to like put your head down and really focus and
yeah,
just start.
yeah.
Just start. Like don't be a tip chaser where it's like one more video, one more tip, and one more business model or whatever. Just pick something and
Right,
start.
right.
And then
That's
you can
great
tweak it
advice.
as you go.
That's great advice. Because when I started, there was actually a lack of these educational resources and even people willing to share. And now, obviously, YouTube University and everything's out there. But
Yeah.
now it's just kind of overwhelming. So, to your
Yeah.
point, like you could easily just get distracted and kind of get that analysis paralysis. But pick something, dig in, then go to the next thing, and the information and the resources are out there. But just jump in.
Yeah. Okay, so you had mentioned about how you were, you kind of slowly raised your prices over the years. Something that people say all the time is, well, I am a shoot and burn. How the hell am I going to transition? Like these clients, I'm going to lose all my clients. No one's going to want to buy. Like, how did you make that transition from going to the higher prices?
Yeah, I think you will lose a lot of your clients, and it's okay. You have to realize it's a different, just like anything else. There's people that for every store out there, there's clients and customers for that store. So don't take it personally. You know, there are some that will come with you, and some have as I've raised my prices. But you know, just look at it as a whole new segment that you're getting into. And that other segment, like I said, there's people to serve them, but now you're looking to a different segment, and it's different marketing, it's different outreach, but it can certainly be done. But just don't expect all of those old clients to come with you, and don't take it personal. Like it's their prerogative to pay what they want, but you're offering a service you believe in. It's what Sue always talks about. Like your value, you're really bringing value when you get that business running, get that portfolio how you want it. So stand by it. You know, it's different people. There's people for that segment as well. So just be confident.
I remember when I was raising my prices, because I used to shoot families back in the day, and I still do on occasion, mostly for my past clients or,
Oh, right.
whatever. But, and sometimes if it was my full-time thing, I wouldn't enjoy it, but, sometimes switching it up is nice. But, I went from shoot and burn, a couple $100 or whatever, to starting at $1,200 for my smallest package. And what I did is I helped them understand that now you're getting hair and makeup. You're getting multiple outfits. We're going to do in studio and outside. You're going to get print products. Like, I really help them see I'm not just raising my prices from the exact same service before to, from $300 to $1,200.
Yeah. The value add.
Yeah. And it's really important to show that there is a value add. And like you said, it's the law of averages. Some people are going to be like, nope, I'm going to do a mini session for $150 over here, and that's okay.
Right.
And the new people coming in have no idea what you used to charge.
Right. This is just your new, this is your new clientele. So, right.
Yes.
We get in our heads a lot about, where we were and what people will do and pay. And it's no different, like I said, than other industries. Like, people pay $15,000 for a bag, and you couldn't understand it, right? But it's people that pay $30 for a bag. So there's clients for everyone.
Oh, totally. I'm the $30 for a bag. I just do not understand the like. So everyone is different,
right?
And I have friends who will pay $1,000 for a bag. Like, and we're like one of my best friends. Everyone is just so different. You just you never know. Who's really good at teaching about this is Jessica Malone.
Oh, I've heard of her, yeah.
She's speaking at WPPI. Like, she lives she was on this podcast. She lives in a tiny little rural town in Ohio, and she's a $3,000 average. And she's like, I'm not trying to be like generalized, but a lot of her clients, you wouldn't look at them and think, oh, they're going to spend $3,000 on photos.
Right. So,
but, okay, this is going to sound bad, but a lot of times, like, really rich people are rich. Either one, they're spending above their means and they just look rich, or two, because they like are cheap. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, someone can look like they're super wealthy driving this really fancy car in this big house. Actually, Emma Burkesell was on this episode as well, on this podcast. And she had a client who was extremely wealthy, who was balking at her. She raised it was like $50 to $75. And she was like balking about it, and, was like annoyed that she raised it $25 and then showed up with her kids in these outfits that cost like hundreds.
Oh, right.
Like, you just never know.
You never know. You can't make assumptions, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And don't like cut your opportunities. Why cut them off before you even know? Like, people are like, well, I don't want to. You don't know. Just put it out there. See, now you do make that's business. You make adjustments if you have to. Maybe you come down a little. But a lot of times what happens is you actually have to keep raising prices because you do get that sweet spot and you still want to work only a certain amount. So, you could have the opposite problem. So you have to have a positive mindset as well.
Yeah. And again, I know I say this all the time, but people aren't just going to randomly find you.
Right.
So it's like you really have to have that marketing dialed in. And I know this is uncomfortable for some people, but you have to get out there in person.
Yeah.
And truly get yourself out there. People will book. Well, they'll book you from referrals and, if your website, Instagram and all of that. But mostly I have found people will book you when they know, like, and trust you.
Right.
Make sure you have your pitch dialed in. So when someone's like, what do you do? If you're like, oh, I specialize in personal branding and I have a studio here in Chelsea. And, or if you're like, Oh, for people who hate having their photo taken, I am the photographer for them because I will tell you exactly what to do. Personal branding is my jam. My clients make more money
Right.
from their photos. There's so many different ways that you can spin it, but make sure you've got something powerful to say. Like, do you have that lined up? Like, do you know what you're going to say when someone asks you what you do?
Oh, well, it's part of that, like, especially for my headshot clients, I'm like, this is literally going to make you money because you're out there looking for jobs. Even if you're not looking for jobs, you might be. We know this economy, so you've got to have updated headshots. The headshots one really sell themselves. I'm like, your money right now. Do
Mm-hmm.
not put out some selfie. Do not have,
Yeah.
a picture where someone cut you out, even if it's a nice picture. No, let's get you something professional. And people react to that. So headshots really sell themselves. But even on the lifestyle, it's like, this is something an investment, right? That you won't regret. I always tell them
Mm-hmm.
that. So people spend their money, like we talked about several times, they'll spend their money how they want. But if you tell them this is just another investment, I mean, a lot of people relate to that. So I
I like
usually have
that.
no problem selling. I mean, like, again, if they're in the mindset of one picture, they're just dead set on that, then, you kind of have to move on. But people that really understand and they're your target clients, it resonates with them. Like, this is another investment.
Yeah, this is an investment you won't regret. And
Right.
there were a couple photos on your website that really got me. They were like family, not like a ton of family, but there were just a couple shots in there. There was one, it was a family. It was a really simple background. I think they were all dressed in black and the background was
Oh,
like
yeah.
white.
That client hired me to come to New York City to shoot that. Yeah.
I love that. Like,
Yeah.
especially like, again, you got to make sure you work on your portfolio, make sure you're showing what you want to shoot, all of that, because seeing that was like, I would book him for my family photos, like my
Yeah.
lifestyle family photos.
And it was great because I just love interacting with people and making building those relationships. And that was
Hmm.
actually a guy from business school, but he had been a supporter for all these years. It's like when I want a picture for my wall. My kids are getting older, and he hired me to meet him in New York, and it was just beautiful. And he ordered a print as well. So that's that. But that lets you know that there are those people out there that are willing. So you just have to dial into those people.
Okay, so one more thing I want to talk about is the email list. You had mentioned that when you send out an email, often you'll get a booking from that. What types of emails are you sending?
So that's why I want to pick it up. But I've just been doing it's actually been quarterly, right? Just I'll tell them how things are going. I'll do a couple of images from those sessions, and the people on that list have been longtime clients. Anybody that's been a client, I throw them on there, and then people that are just interested. So they'll see the work. You're showing them new work, and I'll just tell them, about any openings that I have. So I try to also make that a list that, as I build that list, that it's something that you want to be on, kind of exclusive. And I still do holiday minis. I've really been cutting them out, but this is my last year doing them. But those are the only people that I do them for. So
Yeah.
it's just a group that has been nurtured over time, and I'm just trying to continue to build that. So my list is probably only about not only, I mean, it's about 400, but I really want to get that up because, again, even like you said about, there's going to be a lot of no's in there. You throw an email out and people read it and toss it, but I have a good open rate, but they might not do anything with it. But if you have one or two every time you send one out, I mean, that's a ripe audience. So I just want
Well,
to be more consistent, maybe one a month or something like that.
that's what I was going to say. Consistency is key because I
Mhm.
think sometimes people will try something one time or post one story or photo or whatever, and then it's crickets. But
Right.
sometimes people have to hear something 2, 3, 5, 7 times before it's go time.
Right.
You
Right.
have
So
to
you got
be
to just keep,
consistent.
yeah, you got to keep plugging away.
And like you said, a lot of, your email list is your past clients. I want to make sure people out there don't forget about your past clients. Even if you're changing your prices, they already know, like, and trust you. They
Hmm.
already love your work. They're the easiest people to sell to. So make sure you have, all of your past clients, make sure they're on a list.
Hmm.
And like you said, either monthly or quarterly, show them what you're doing, show them what you're up to. If you add a new genre, especially like if you're a wedding photographer and you're going to add maternity or
Send it
personal
out. Yeah.
branding or whatever, I mean, they're the best people to market to. So I just want to remind people about that. Don't
That's
forget to
great
do that.
advice. Yeah. You
I
have to.
I make so much more money from my email list than I do from social media.
I know. I was getting a lot from social media, but now it's definitely the scales have tipped for sure.
Yeah, it's there's like some crazy percentage out there. I'm not even gonna say it because I'm gonna get it wrong because I can't remember, but the amount of dollars you spend on social media versus email, the conversion is like 140%. I know something okay, totally
Oh, right, right. Because yeah,
yeah, it's like people are way more likely to read your email, see your email instead of just scrolling past,
right.
And again,
Not
some
even
people aren't
looking.
gonna open and that's okay.
Right.
But
But the averages, yeah.
yeah, like especially for like holidays, you could sell prints, for example. Like, hey, for all my past clients, I'm giving 20% off or 30% off of wall canvases or holiday cards or, anything. Like there's so many ways that you can sell to your past clients. Make it the norm that it's an annual shoot. Hey, it's time for your annual shoot. Let's do this. Like make it
Yeah.
like, I've had 18 clients book their annual shoots. I've got 2 spots left. Make it like, "Oh, everyone's doing annual shoots." Like make it a normal thing, you know?
Right. I like that language, annual shit. Like, put it in their minds of
Yes.
what, just kind of planting those seeds for sure.
Yeah, especially with kids who are getting, growing up like
I know.
from age 5 to 6 or 9 to 10, like it's a big difference,
Yeah.
and it's like, "Okay, do you have your annual photos this year?" and that sort of thing.
Right. And I know you shoot seniors. I don't shoot
Mhm.
seniors, but as much I have, but I have a senior now. So just that's another time where you're like, you got to get
Yeah.
these family pictures before, and people definitely relate to that. So it's just planting those seeds.
Another way that I've been able to, like, upsell and get, just different sessions in or that sort of thing is with seniors. So I will ask the parents, like, "Do either of you need headshots? Like, while you're here, let's do your
Oh
headshots."
yeah.
Or bring the whole family in at the end, and we'll do a couple, family photos because when you and if you're a shoot and burn and you're just giving them all the photos, this is not gonna help because then it's
Right.
just more work for you and you're not making any more money. But
Right.
if you're doing packages and like my senior packages are 10, 20, 30, and if you are doing, want them to get that 30 image package, I'm not charging them more to bring their family in. But
Right.
if the senior is like in love with 20 photos, but then you still have those family photos in there, you're going to sell the bigger package.
Right. Right. They're gonna move up. That's right.
Yeah.
And they're already there. That's smart. Yeah, yeah.
hmm Or if you book someone for just one person, lifestyle or personal branding or whatever, ask them if they want to bring their family at the end. Like there's ways that you can get this, people to kind of purchase more, but not if you're shoot and burn
I
and just
know. You
giving all
can't
the digitals.
you did like you said, you're just doing more work for it's like for no more money. So
Yeah.
yeah, it just starts to hit you after a while. You gotta change things.
Yeah, you can burn out so easily that way. Um it's hard. Like it's hard doing it that way. I mean, like it just yeah, you end up working so much and just burning the candle at both ends.
Mhm.
Or when you're doing such high volume, it's hard to present the final product in the way that the client might really love. Here's an example. I
Mhm.
have one of my dear friends. Every year she does she does this like mini session that, she spends $150 on probably because she knows she's gonna send me the photos and I'm gonna edit them how they should be. And I know,
Right.
okay, that's probably a no-no, but little things like just the way she was lit and like okay, this is probably a little TMI, but she was like had her arm around her boyfriend and her like boob was like smashed into him and she's like, "Look at this." And I was like, "I got you." And I was able to fix that,
Right.
Like but if you are doing high volume,
You can't yeah.
you can't give the attention that you need to each photo, Like
Right.
I don't know. I'm just kind of a stickler with retouching. I don't want to change how someone looks or anything like that, but I'm going to remove stray hairs and
Yeah,
pimples
and it
and
takes time, right. It takes time.
wrinkles from
Yeah.
clothing, I mean, with Avoto, do you use Avoto?
I use a Voto. I use Imagine. I definitely
Mhm.
use all the tools. I use both of them together, more Imagine than Voto. But yeah, they make it easy. But you still, I mean, it's just like any AI. Like you still as the human and as the in control of it, you still have to tweak, right? So
Yeah.
even when it comes out of
Yes.
Voto is really good. But even when it comes out, I'll still do tweaks because I don't want to just hand over something that might not be, up to my standards. So.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But it's like if this particular photographer maybe raised her prices a little bit or did packages and really like dialed in her editing,
mm.
I feel like she could shoot less and charge
And
more.
yeah, absolutely.
You know? So, and honestly, my friend probably wouldn't go to this photographer again if she didn't know that she had me to
Right.
edit her photos. I
You
feel like I
saved the
need to
day
just
for
stop
her.
for this because this is like the second or third time I've done it. Although
You
I
saved
should say I know her mom pays for them, so it's kind of a. But anyway, okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. Just and I truly say this out of love and care, and I know you do too. That
Yeah,
you really want to see people succeed. Like I
right,
want you to quit that shitty job that you're sick of. Like
right. And there's a way to do it.
yeah, like truly, there is a way to do this where you're not just like banging your head against the wall and feeling resentment at how little you're charging and I don't know.
Yeah, and that resentment piece, Nikki, when you get burned out and you're not bringing the best of you to the table because you're kind of like you're doing it, but again, you're just trying to you might have trying to get the volume and your prices are low. But when you raise your prices, first of all, those customers appreciate it more. And you're actually bringing your best self to the table because you're like, okay, they paid me 1,500, 2,000, like let's go, right? But
Mhm.
you always want to have the mindset to deliver for clients. I don't want to
Well, yeah,
misspeak,
for
but
sure.
you know what I mean. Like when you have clients that are really invested, they might have paid a little more, invested in not just financially, but just like they're really into it. It just naturally brings your A game. So you seek out those clients, push your prices up, but you're gonna feel a lot better about it when you're serving those clients versus somebody that's nickel and diming you over everything. They really don't value it. It's like, yeah, like my time is worth more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been a really, really amazing conversation,
Yeah,
Damien.
thank you, Nikki. Appreciate it.
I'm excited for you. I feel like you're just going to keep growing because I mean the level of your work and the way you market yourself is, yeah.
It's gonna be a
I can
good
see
year.
it. You're going
Thank
to be
you.
paying for all three of those kids' college by the time.
Yes, from your mouth to God's ears. Yes.
Awesome. All right.
Mhm.
Okay, I do have four questions that I always
Yeah.
ask at the end of each episode.
Yep.
And the first one is what is something you can't live without when you're doing a photo shoot?
It's my music, so gotta have that. It's like
Mhm.
I can't remember the last time I've done a session without music, but I'll just have something playing when they come in. But then it's a Bluetooth speaker, obviously, so I'll have them put their playlist on.
Oh, nice.
It's just anything to make clients comfortable. But it always helps. So I always have the music and the speaker, and it's obviously a portable. So when I go, I also take it. So just having that music playing.
I love that. My photographer would be like, "What you want to?" I'd have like my country playlist on. Like they'd be like, "No, I'm just." I love it. No, that's cool though, because it like when you're listening to music you truly love, it makes you feel something. It like adds to that experience, and I just feel like it just changes how you're feeling. Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that was a little tweak because I know a lot of people do music, but let them put theirs in when they just plug into your Bluetooth speaker. So they really like that.
smart, super smart. Okay, number two is how do you spend your time when you're not working?
Yes. So I mentioned the kids and the family. They're teenagers now, so 17, 15, and 13. So never
Oh
a dull
man,
moment. Like I'm an Uber driver,
yeah, I was gonna say,
track,
yeah.
soccer. So yeah, just running after them. I like to get outside. We have a puppy. Well, she's not a puppy anymore. But we have a dog. So just getting outside with her
Yeah.
and just being outside and just exercising. So getting up there in age, so I got to stay active.
Oh, you and me both, man.
Yeah.
All right. Number three is what is a photography specific product you would recommend to people?
So it's lights, but it's a different take because I'm not one way or another, right? So I love natural light photography actually. So that's where I started, but I knew I didn't want to be limited. So I learned studio lighting and just off camera flash. So when I'm out and about, I can take it. So I think it's important to have them. I use Godox, but any brand that you want to use. But just having that ability to, control the environment is important. So even if I just say that because there's a lot of natural light photographers, and that's fine. And like I mentioned, I love that. And I always try to use available light, but I'm ready with my flashes and my, so I use continuous light sometimes too, but just being ready with light, because you're going to need it sometimes. Sometimes, even my studio, I have a window, but if that light, if clouds or whatever, you got to be ready with lighting. So it's important.
Absolutely. I'm the same. I do mostly natural light, and
Yeah, no,
the studio that I shoot in, the light's very predictable. It's a really big space, so I can move people and whatever. But when I go on location, or when I do these big, huge headshot groups, I'm there all day. The light is changing, and all these photos need to look consistent.
Right, the consistency.
Or if they want you in their office where the lighting is just like terrible, I mean, you have to be able to pivot that. So. Yeah. Love that. All right. And number 4 is, what would you tell people who are just starting out?
I would say just stay in your lane. So my area is very competitive for photographers. I know most of our listeners, there's some rural people that are, kind of big man on campus or woman on campus. But in a city like DC, there's a ton of great photographers. So just stay in your lane. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing.
Yes.
Like, even if you're a beginner, just start, like we were talking about, find something you can keep getting better at, and just stay in your lane. There's clients for you, just like for everyone else in the, in the big pool. Just stick to it. So people sometimes get discouraged, like seeing what everyone else is doing. It's kind of natural with social media, but just stay in your lane. The clients will come. You keep doing what you're supposed to do. I think it's just staying in your lane.
Yep, I love that. For a long time, I didn't even really know what other people were charging in my area. The only reason I would know is like I'm in a local photography group, and someone would post like a referral for, their budget is XYZ, and everyone's like, I'll do it. And I'd be like, you will? Like, oh gosh, is that what's happening around me? Because I'm looking at like, I have a $2,000 sales average, and I'm like, whoa, But sometimes I feel like it's good just to put your head down and do your thing and not pay attention to what other people are charging. I don't know.
Right. Because it can it can maybe discourage you if you're not there. Or it can maybe motivate you, but still, just do your thing. Continue to try to put out good work and learn, and your clients will come. So
yeah, it can mess with your head if you think that everyone else is charging $300 and you're the only one. But
right.
I mean, people who are charging industry standard and they're really busy, they're not complaining in local Facebook groups. They're not so you're probably not going to hear from them as much.
Right. So that's that.
All right. And then, Damien, where can people find you online? Which I encourage everyone to check out your Instagram and your website for sure.
Yeah. So D Carter Photography on Instagram. And my website is Damien Carter Photography, all one word.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again. I'm excited to hang out with you in person at WPI in March. That's going to be amazing.
We will definitely catch up. I appreciate it. Thank you for the time, Nikki.
Thank you so much, Damien.
All right. You take care. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button so that way you won't miss what's coming next. And if you want even more photography, education, resources, and tools, head over to theportraitsystem.com. We'll see you in the next episode.